YouTube. So thank you for coming, everybody. Hi, this is will be a short Q&A session on the Zovu Digital Storytelling Fellowships of 2022. We will run through the basics of the Zovu project, what it is, and we will let you know about the fellowships and also answer any questions you may have about the application process or the program itself. I think we can start by introducing the organization running the project, which is Organization Action for Sustainable Development, and the global coordinator, Oli Henman, will come in and say a few words to let us know where we come from.
Thanks so much, Clara. Hi, everyone. It's really exciting to see how Zovu as a concept and as a project is growing each year. So for those of you who may not be aware, this is supported by Action for Sustainable Development. We're a network of more than 3,000 different civil society organizations and activists working on sustainable development in over 160 countries. More than 80% based in the global south, so in the countries that are most affected by the climate and social justice challenges that we're seeing in many parts of the world at the moment. We originally came together back in 2015 around the moment of joint advocacy and campaigning on the Sustainable Development Goals, and we follow the cycle of the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. But we also increasingly realize that it's the frontline members and the faces and voices of those who are most directly affected that need to be given more profile, more visibility through our work. And so many of the members across our networks have been highlighting the need to really hear those frontline voices. And so a few years ago, we brought together an advisory group of some key members who were active on direct storytelling and bringing forward voices of members. And you can see the list here. Esso, for example, from Togo, who was with us since 2015, has been a very active member and is very active in bringing forward voices of many of those in key countries in West Africa. We have Adrian Watson, who joined us as a youth rep several years ago, based in Jamaica, and works very strongly on climate and youth engagement. Darielle Santos from Brazil, who has also been involved in a number of projects in this area and currently has set up her own organization that looks at equity within the fashion industry and ensuring traceability of textiles and fabric production. We also have Zia from Pakistan, who works with gender equality, women's rights and youth engagement in Pakistan. And then finally we have Abdul based in Fiji, who represents a number of youth groups working in the Pacific Islands and has been active bringing together voices of those who are sometimes and often marginalized in those Pacific Islands contexts. So it's a very diverse group, and we've already had one round before this of Zovu, and it's kindly supported by a group of foundations who came together to create something called the Climate Justice Resilience Fund, which is aiming to provide support to the frontline groups, many of whom we work with. And we are really here to act as an entry point or a gateway to bring those voices forward and to make sure that you have an opportunity to share what's really happening on the ground. And we look forward to finding ways to also bring those voices into key UN meetings, like the High-Level Political Forum or the UN General Assembly in September. So thank you from my side, and looking forward to seeing some really strong stories coming through this year. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Oli. Yes, we are very excited to have this project going on, and I will let you know more a little bit about what it is. The word Zovu means to find out the truth in the Ewe language that is spoken in Togo. It's sort of a mix between Ewe and French. That the one who has the Zovu means the one who knows it all, basically. What it is an upcoming online space where activists can share stories and raise funds to continue their work. This online space is coming soon. We're hoping to launch it in the coming weeks. So very, very soon. And yes, this space allows for activists, different social movements, NGOs, community groups to, through stories, share their approaches. We know that there are groups who are delivering on the solutions that we need, and they're using approaches that are very innovative and that include sometimes traditional knowledge, sometimes scientific knowledge, sometimes technology that others don't know about in other corners of the world. So the idea of Zovu is to be able to have those approaches shared through stories, for groups to be able to communicate each other, to eventually collaborate if they want to, and down the line, what we want to do, what we hope for the Zovu platform to become as well, is a space where supporters can directly help with the fundraising of these groups that might be very far apart from them geographically, or that they would not have been able to get to know otherwise. So that's the idea of Zovu. And yes, as I said, the project goals are highlighting the different stories, and this will help understand how people-powered change happens and the different sustainable models that can be replicated in different spaces, and having the network of change makers be a tool for change. The broader objectives of the project are to maintain the public spotlight on these issues, and by maintaining the public spotlight on these issues, we believe that there's a way in which this will promote accountability with leaders and encourage them to act. And then, yes, as we said, is to help secure funding for community groups which sometimes do not have access to sustainable funding, reliable funding, or when that funding does come, it comes with a lot of conditions and a lot of extra work that they have to do to receive it. Now, the Zovu Fellowships that we are organizing this year, and we did, I'll let you know a little bit more here. Yeah, the Zovu Fellowships, as Oli said, this is going to be the second round of fellowships. We had already one last year. On 2022, what will happen is that 25 participants will be supported to co-produce multimedia content about their stories of change and their different approaches. These stories will be designed and planned by the participants. They will have the lead in understanding what types of stories, what types of messaging helps them better to achieve their goals and to accompany their goals. Grants of $600 US dollars will be made available to the different groups. Each can receive a grant of up to $600, and this will be made available to maybe purchase or rent equipment that is necessary to capture audio and or video, software, or even technical support, or somebody that can help them with the production of the stories. Some of the examples of the work that the different groups could produce is maybe like already receiving coaching on storytelling techniques, maybe film a short documentary video, or maybe build a social media campaign, or maybe they would even like to write an op-ed for media, international logo, in which case we would be helping to get in touch. The content will be promoted via the Zovu and the actionforsd.org websites, and of course the pieces are the activists to share and to use as they wish. Some people last year used them for ad campaigns. Some people last year did projections of their documentaries. Others made a podcast series. You can see many of the participants of last year's fellowship program on actionforsd.org/Zovu. In the bottom, you can see some examples of those who have participated. But in any case, I will show you now an example of one group from Brazil who was working with us and received a fellowship in 2021. They're the Chico Mendes Committee, and they're doing work to protect a reserve in the Amazon in Brazil. They made a short video. It is in Portuguese, but there's English subtitles, and I will show it to you now.
O maior legado de Chico Mendes está ameaçado. As reservas extrativistas são importantes unidades de conservação que associam o uso tradicional dos recursos naturais com a proteção dos territórios. O uso sustentável destes recursos gera renda para cerca de 400 mil famílias e é fundamental para a preservação de milhões de hectares da floresta amazônica.
Eu sou Cátia Santos, moro na reserva extrativista Chico Mendes, no Acre. O meu avô veio aqui para o Seringal para cortar seringa. Eu nasci aqui, pretendo morar aqui, porque aqui eu acredito que a gente tem uma vida de qualidade. As populações tradicionais têm um papel muito importante, porque nós protegemos esses territórios. No entanto, a reserva extrativista Chico Mendes está ameaçada pelos desmatamentos, invasões ilegais e pelo projeto de lei 6024 da bancada ruralista, que quer diminuir a nossa reserva.
Para a preservação destes territórios, precisamos empoderar os jovens para que suas vozes sejam protagonistas dessa luta.
É importante formar novas lideranças jovens que ocupem espaços políticos e que tenham acesso à comunicação, internet e educação de qualidade, que são os objetivos do projeto Jovens Protagonistas. O que nós desejamos para esse território é que ele se desenvolva, aliando tecnologia, cultura, acesso à informação, com a proteção dos nossos modos de vida tradicionais.
Desmatamento, venda ilegal de terras, pressão da pecuária e até mesmo projetos de lei estão entre as principais ameaças das reservas extrativistas. Seu apoio é importante para que o projeto Jovens Protagonistas continue formando jovens lideranças em defesa da Amazônia.
So as you can see, this is an example of what a group produced last year. It's a very nice video that will really be helpful for them in using it in different forums that they will participate in. It's been helpful also for us as a network to show what the different members of Action for Sustainable Development are working on. And this is an example of what your organization, your group could produce if you participate in Zovu. I'll let you know more now about who is eligible for the fellowships. So who can participate? The types of candidates that we are looking for are similar to the one in the example. So NGOs can of course participate. Social or environmental entrepreneurs are also eligible. Community organization and non-registered movements, we can also work with them. And even individual activists who are working, we can also work with them. The candidates must be based in the Global South, that is Latin America and the Caribbean, Sub-Saharan Africa, Middle East and Northern Africa, Asia and the Pacific regions, and we're also accepting candidates from Europe, but from non-EU countries, non-EEA, and not from the UK. Thematically, the groups must be working on a project around climate. We are specifically interested in those projects that look at the intersection between climate and social justice. So if they are working on climate in a broader sense and looking at the ramifications of the effects of climate change, these are the type of projects that we are very interested in. The people in the group must be able to, at least one, must be able to communicate in either English, French, Spanish, or Portuguese. Those are 4 of our working languages. It is possible that we can have a group that doesn't speak any of these languages, but if they can make a translator available for the different sessions and the meetings that we will have with them, that is fine. And the content that they publish can be published in any language that they deem more adequate for the audiences that they're trying to touch. Another condition is that the candidates must have a project that is already running. We are not looking for projects that haven't yet started or projects that were over a long time ago. The funding that we are making available with these fellowships is not meant to be funding that will be used for project activities. It will be used for production only. So that's one reason. And another reason is for projects that are already running, groups know very well the rationale behind their approaches, and they may also have some information about the effects and some of the results that their approaches have led to. So it's interesting to then be working with projects that are already running. Lastly, just wanted to let you know how to apply. All of the information that we've shared today, most of it is available on actionforsd.org/Zovu. There's a link where you can submit your proposal, or you can become a candidate through the link that is in actionforsd.org/Zovu. The application form is very short. As I said, we're not looking for new projects, so candidates don't have to write entire program proposals or anything like that. It's just a couple of questions so that the advisory group better understands your approach, what you're looking for, your theme, what type of leadership you have, and so on. So it's just a few questions. We are taking in submissions until 31st of January, so this means you still have a couple of weeks more to go. But as I said, the application form is really short, so it should be no problem for you to fill that in. And we will get back to all of the candidates by March 31st, whether they have made it or not. After that, the calendar of the rest of the year would look more or less like in April, May, we will start to engage in pre-production talks. We will help you understanding what your needs are, what types of stories you want to make. We will coach whoever needs coaching. And we will, our aim is to try to organize a few common training sessions that all of the participants can attend, but for this we need to, of course, see the needs and what people are interested in, and we will hope to also organize a couple of sessions just for the participants to meet each other, because we know from previous experiences that they end up having a lot to learn from one another. So this will happen in the first couple of months, and then production will then most likely happen May, June, July. That's when most of the shooting, if people are going to be shooting and filming, will happen, or the capturing of information, images, and so on will happen. And post-production work must be done in July so that everything is ready by the month of August. Two of the occasions where these stories will be largely promoted and shared will be the Global Week of Action for Sustainable Development, which takes place at the end of September, and COP27 in November also will be another occasion where these will be heavily promoted. So this is why everything needs to be ready a couple of months before that. This is more or less what the calendar will look like. Before we move on to questions, I just wanted to let you know that tomorrow at 10 a.m. GMT, we are having a session, same session but in French, for if you have any Francophone colleagues or friends who may want to learn more. That's happening tomorrow. It will be linked in our different channels, our Instagram and our Twitter. And we are having also another session tomorrow, a few hours after that, in Spanish, for colleagues in Latin America who may want to, or Equatorial Guinea who may want to know more. You can also share that with them. And we will have another session in Portuguese, and that will be this Friday at noon GMT. Again, those links will be available in our Twitter and Instagram. Twitter and Instagram are also very good places to put us any questions that you may have via DM or comment. We will be looking at them and answering. And there's also an email address that you can use. That's info@actionforsd.org. I will leave that in the description box on YouTube so that you can email us if you need to. If anyone has any questions, this is the time to go so that we can do our best to answer. You can ask anything around the application process or the program itself.
No, right now I don't have any questions. I just want to say thank you for showing us the video for more clarity and also for the initiative. I think it's great. So only that.
Fantastic. Yeah, let's see. We have participants from Mexico this year. We didn't have any last year, and it would be great to include some groups. So thank you. Okay, so maybe there aren't many questions at this point. Oli, I don't know if you have any additional words or anything else to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've covered it very well, Clara, and I'm sure that we'll have further opportunities for people to get in touch if you do need more information. As we said before, this is a really exciting opportunity, and I think you've seen a great video there from Brazil that gives you an idea of how you can think about bringing your stories to life. This is something that will be continuing to build over the year, and we should have other opportunities coming up as well. So if you find that it's too short to get something in now, there'll likely be another opportunity. And certainly, as you said, September is going to be a big moment to promote these stories and to give people visibility alongside some of those key UN meetings, and then through to the COP in November as well. So the first half of the year is the time for you to gather your stories, and then we'll work with you to promote them in the second half of the year. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what comes through. Thanks, Clara.
Thank you. Fantastic. Thank you for adding that. Great. Thanks everyone for joining. This session will be on our YouTube channel for Action for Sustainable Development in case you want to rewatch or share with anybody. It should be shortly, a few moments after this. But in any case, have a very nice rest of your day, and we're really looking forward to seeing your applications. Bye bye. Thank you.